Hello and welcome to Courage to Overcome. On this podcast, I will be talking about emotionally destructive people and relationships from a Christian biblical perspective with a bit of psychology. I also upload inspirational and motivational content. So if you're interested in hearing more, please subscribe and follow my podcast. So today I want to talk about a narcissist prayer. So I was just browsing the internet and I found it on a website. So I thought, let me just share my thoughts about it with you. So the prayer goes like this. A narcissist prayer. That didn't happen. And if it did, it wasn't that bad. And if it was, that's not a big deal. And if it is, that's not my fault. And if it was, I didn't mean it. And if I did, you deserved it. So let's analyze this so-called prayer line by line. So the first line says, that didn't happen. So that is kind of like a denial of any wrongdoing or negative behavior. The narcissist is essentially saying that they did not do anything wrong and that any accusations against them are false. So narcissists, they are notorious for bending the truth and creating new realities. They love to create history. It didn't happen because I say it didn't happen, as if they are God and can change reality. Even though God can do that, he doesn't. But the narcissist somehow believes he can erase what happened by saying it didn't happen. It's just delusional. It's also called gaslighting, which is a manipulative tactic the narcissist uses to confuse his victims, to cause them to doubt their perception of their reality. Gaslighting is a form of manipulation that seeks to sow seeds of doubt in a targeted individual or members of a group, hoping to make targets question their own memory, perception, and sanity. Using persistent denial, misdirection, contradiction, and lying, it attempts to destabilize the target and delegitimize the target's belief. Gaslighting is a tactic that the narcissist and manipulative abusers use to cause you to question your sanity and reality. It's also used to break down your will to fight and resist. And so the person who is the victim of this is left doubting and questioning and wondering about their own perception of situations and circumstances. And so the narcissist purposely denies things they have done and makes out like the person is going crazy. And he does this so convincingly, you almost begin to believe that you're wrong and they're right. And it starts off little by little, small thing here, small thing there. So it's a very insidious practice, as over time the victim begins to doubt themselves, they're confused, they're unsure of their responses, they're unsure of their decision making. It's a really, really horrible experience. I've been through it myself and it's not a good thing at all. So the second line of this prayer is, and if it did, it wasn't that bad. Now, this is a classic minimization of the harm caused. The narcissist is attempting to downplay the severity of their actions and make it seem like the harm caused was not a significant issue. It's not significant to them, so it's not an issue. Narcissists are notorious for changing the goalpost. First of all, it didn't happen. Now they've been caught out. Okay, it did happen, but it wasn't really that bad. They like to minimize and devalue people's feelings and emotions and hurts. They feel as if you are exaggerating your whole experience, which is actually what they are guilty of most of the time. They believe you are playing the victim card and your feelings don't matter to them. So the next line is, and if it was, that's not a big deal. This further diminishes the impact of the narcissist's actions and attempts to make it seem like it was not a significant issue as usual. Minimize his own actions in his own eyes. It wasn't really wrong. Really wasn't. Minimize his own contributions, his own toxic actions. It's not a big deal to them because it's not hurting them. It's not affecting their feelings, so it's not important to them. That's why it's not a big deal. Their controlling and manipulative behavior is not a big deal because they're not at the receiving end. And then the next line, if it is, that's not my fault. This is shifting the blame onto others and denying any responsibility. Narcissists are notorious for not accepting responsibility or accountability for their bad behavior and actions. It's not me. It reminds me of that Shaggy song, It Wasn't Me. It's not my fault. The narcissist motto is deny, 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 and deny again. The mental gymnastics they have to perform to try and get out of accepting responsibility must be truly amazing if it wasn't so disturbing. It's not my fault. If it's not your fault, then it has to be. If it's not my fault, then it has to be your fault. You made me do this. Blame shifting. Then deflection. Remember what you did last week where you did this and this to me, and then the topic has changed and now you're defending yourself about something that you thought has already been resolved. And often some false accusation to get off to change the subject. They think they're so clever, but we're onto them. And when we have channels like this on YouTube and so many other great channels educating and informing people about these demons. The next line. And if it was, I didn't mean it. Yeah, this is a common tactic used by narcissists to avoid responsibility again for their actions. By claiming that they didn't intend to cause harm, the narcissist intends to shift blame onto external factors or other people. However, this line is often used insincerely, as narcissists are known for their lack of empathy and disregard for the feelings of others. They may claim that they didn't mean to hurt someone, but their actions and behavior suggest otherwise. Also, even if the narcissist did not intend to cause harm, it does not excuse their behavior or absolve them from responsibility. They never seem to mean anything they do, and if they don't mean it, why does it continue over and over and over again? This is the never-ending cycle of abuse of the narcissist. It will always continue and never stop until somebody makes a decision as to whether they will continue to accept this abuse. The next line and the last line. And if I did, you deserved it. Now that comes to the crux of the whole matter. This is a particularly toxic and harmful aspect of narcissistic behavior. This basically justifies to the narcissist his behavior. I did it because you deserve it. So the narcissist is essentially saying that they're not responsible for their own behavior and the victim is to blame. This is a classic example of victim blaming and is a classic tactic used by abusers to justify their actions. And it's important to recognize that no one deserves to be mistreated or abused regardless of their actions or behavior. The responsibility for harmful behavior lies solely with the perpetrator, and it's never acceptable to shift blame onto the victim. So basically, the narcissist's prayer is a statement. That's what I think. It's just a statement of belief. It's a statement of belief. This is what they believe. This is what their whole life is centered about. It's a statement often used by narcissistic personality traits, a way for them to deflect responsibility for their actions and behaviors and to avoid taking accountability for the harm that they may have caused others. They do this by devaluing, minimizing, blame shifting, gaslighting, etc. Overall, the narcissist prayer is a clear example of the manipulative and harmful behavior exhibited by individuals with NPD. And it's important to recognize these patterns of behavior and take steps to protect oneself from the harm caused by narcissistic individuals. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please like and subscribe, and I hope to meet with you again in my next episode. Stay blessed.